Hiya and welcome to this FPL video guide. This one's going to be slightly different. A few of the other videos have really been focused on very specific aspects of using the tool. This one is more so aimed at a higher level. When do we want to run certain solves? And also, if we're being suggested a move or we have a couple of moves, how do you really think about it? What do we do? So what I'd suggest is we've got our three different type of solves: multi-period, sensitivity analysis, chip timing. Chip timing is really just for when we're uncertain about when you want to time our chips and developing a strategy around that. And so if you know what chip you're playing, or if you know, choosing a chip, largely not relevant. So in typical game weeks, generally your decision is going to be between multi-period and sensitivity analysis. And the default is really this multi-period solve. However, there are times where sensitivity analysis becomes quite valuable. And that's really as kind of an exploratory tool. So say if we're really unsure what we're going to do, that there's very many different moves that we could follow. For example, in a wild card or free hit, or just a period of significant uncertainty, sensitivity analysis can be good to just present a different perspective. And equally, it has that mechanism where it can flag up players could be good if we had a different X-min read on them. Now, that's not to say that multi-period isn't also useful in those kind of periods. I guess for wildcards and free hits, sometimes there's so many variations of solutions that are, have meaningless differences between them. So, your first 20 solutions for a free hit or a wildcard could potentially be almost exactly the same team with very slight variations. Whereas sensitivity analysis is going to flag up alternatives that be more clearly than that. But supposing we're solving for a wildcard, we know which players we're interested or not. We can, exclude certain players, lock in certain players, and then we want to move to our multi-period analysis. Now let's say, how do we deal with the output from the multi-period analysis, so the actual singular solutions? What we really want to do here is, do our research on pairs that we own. Are there any pairs that we're comfortable with? Do the X-men's values and settings really reflect what we believe they should? And when the solver is throwing up suggestions, are the players that it's suggesting, are their settings reflecting what we expect? Or is there a player that we think should be appearing but isn't? And then we really want to research that pool of players. And part of the power of this is, rather than having to, cast an extremely wide net, this helps us narrow down the potential ideas, focus on those, research, whatever, the 5 or so ideas. And even in this case, if we were just written by EV, there's only a handful that look very viable. And also it should be that big of a deal to free strong players. You should be aware of what's happening with them just because you're following their situation as it is. So can't really stress it enough. And it also just concerns how serious you want to take this. I mean, often you should be able to get some reasonable information, quickly enough of whatever different sources think the lineup is going to be prior to the deadline. Or you can go down a rabbit hole and research, fan forums and what they think of De Bruyne or Saka or Foden for upcoming weeks. Now, not saying you necessarily have to do any of that to do well at the game, but that is the kind of direction that, the most serious managers would take. So yeah, really the idea here is that you've got a pool of players that you might be interested in, research them, and they should help you find the best path for your team.